Welcome everyone to today's webinar on de-risking your organization from cyber threats with Routelink and Qualys. My name is Stanley Odwa, and I'm the Group Chief Operating Officer of Routelink Group. At Routelink, we specialize in providing enterprise security solutions that helps organizations secure and manage their critical data. Today, cyber threats are more sophisticated than ever, and businesses, especially in Nigeria and across Africa, need to take a proactive rather than a reactive approach to cybersecurity. That's why we are excited today to partner with Qualys, a global leader in cloud security and vulnerability management. Joining me today is Rajat Tripathi. Great. Rajat Tripathi is a senior technical account manager at Qualys. Rajat is a cybersecurity expert with extensive experience helping businesses strengthen their security resilience through real-time vulnerability scanning, endpoint protection, and continuous security monitoring. Rajat, it's so great to have you.
Thank you so much, Stanley. It's absolutely my pleasure to be on a webinar that has been hosted by uh, Routling in collaboration with Qualys. I'm excited to be here. At Qualys, we work with an organization globally to reduce their attack surface and automate security process, which is more important than ever because the rise of sophisticated cyber attacks. Now, given the surge in cyber threats in Nigeria related to the financial and enterprise sector, today's conversation is very timely, what I believe. Now, we'll discuss not just the threats, but also how business can mitigate rising risk using automation, compliance monitoring, and real time security insights. So, I'm absolutely looking to this webinar.
Wow, thank you. This session is designed to be very interactive. So we'll start with a discussion where I'll ask Raj some key questions, and then we'll open the floor for your questions. So please feel free to drop them in the chat as we go along. So Raj, let's start by setting the stage. For those who may not know Qualys, but for those who are new to Qualys, can you please give us a quick overview of what Qualys does and what makes it unique in the cybersecurity landscape?
Absolutely. I would love to do that because everyone here might be new to Qualys, and I would love to let them know what we are doing, being one of the pioneer vendors in the cybersecurity field, right? Now, Qualys is pioneer in cloud-based cybersecurity, and a platform provides real-time visibility into your security risk across an organization entire IT environment. Whether you have an on-premise infrastructure, whether you have something on cloud, whether you're moving to AI, anything that you have in place, we can assess it for the risk and vulnerability assessment. Now, what makes Qualys unique is our fully cloud native approach, right? Now, unlike traditional security tools, which rely on on-premise infrastructure and periodic scanning, which is kind of a lot of resource consuming, Qualys delivers continuous monitoring and automated threat detection without the need for bulky hardware. So you don't need to deploy anything as a physical within your infrastructure to actually secure your infrastructure from inside out. Now, what are the three pillars of Qualys that we focus on, right? We have a very comprehensive vulnerability management and risk prioritization solution that we call it as a vulnerability management detection response, where we focus on identifying the security gaps and rank them based on the real world exploitability. The second and most important, and I believe most of the people out there will agree, once they have information about the vulnerabilities, it becomes pretty hectic for them to go ahead and remediate them, because that's a complete a manual task for a lot of organizations out there, right? Now, what we do is we have an automated patch and remediation, fixing the vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. And last but not the least, what we have, Stanley, is cloud security and compliance, where every organization who is looking to adhere to certain mandates and regulation, be it CBN regulation, NDPR, PCI DSS, and GDPR, we are there to help the organization to adhere to all those standards and policies out there. Now, our goal is very simple. We stop the attack before they can happen. And we are proud to say that we are doing that with a lot of customers out there who are already leveraging Qualys.
Wow, this is powerful. We stop the attack before they happen. I love this. Rajat, thank you so much. So with cyber threats evolving rapidly, especially in Africa,
Mhm.
let's talk about the specific challenges businesses are facing today. You see, cybercrime is on the rise. Very obvious, and we all know it. But
Absolutely.
the data from Nigeria is particularly very, very alarming. While the number of reported fraud cases did drop from about 101,000 in 2020 to about 70,000 in 2024, you will observe that financial losses skyrocketed, went very high from about 11 billion naira in 2020 to 52 billion naira in 2024. This is quite strange. Raj, what do you think is driving this trend?
Ah, so that's really a very great question looking at the scenario out there into the market, that most of the organizations now, rather than having an issue related to frauds, they are now having something more related to financial losses, where they are having infrastructure which is on the higher risk side, right? Now, the reason losses are increasing despite fraud cases are decreasing is because the attacks are becoming more targeted and sophisticated. Now, what I mean is by that there are three biggest threat factors out there which hackers are leveraging to create such kind of financial losses to the organizations. Now, the very first is a ransomware as a service, right? Now, criminals, what they do is they basically are purchasing the pre-built ransomware on the dark web or anywhere around the globe. It's completely freely available. They can embed that ransomware within their attack and they're good to go. The second is cloud and API exploit. Now, this is the most critical part. Why I believe is that most of the organization now are moving to different kind of technologies and infrastructure. It's not bad to adopt the technology. It's not bad to adopt the kind of infrastructure on which you would like to take the future of your infrastructure or scale up your infrastructure, right? But it's very crucial to also keep in mind with technology, you have a lot of risk that comes with it. And you better keep in mind that you need to take care of those risks as well. So many business migrate to cloud without proper security cloud controls, leading to misconfiguration and exposed APIs. And last but not the least, where phishing and social engineering, these are the trending attacks out there into the globe, right? So attackers are now leveraging AI to craft realistic phishing emails, bypassing traditional email security filters. Now, what are the key takeaways from here, right? The cyber criminals aren't hacking network. Now, they know what kind of mentality an individual person can have, an individual organization carries. And on basis of that, they are not no more hacking networks, but they are hacking people and exploiting security weaknesses before business even realize that they exist.
Hmm. Wow, this is alarming. It's very alarming. So, Raj,
Absolutely.
it highlights why businesses truly need proactive security solutions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about how Ratlink and Qualys help organizations mitigate cyber risk. At Ratlink, we focus on protecting businesses from email-based attacks,
Mhm.
since about 91% of breaches start with phishing. Our solutions block phishing attempts, detect email spoofing, and prevent fraudsters' email from reaching employees.
Absolutely. Thanks. Definitely. Thank you so much for mentioning that because that is one of the most commonly used technology out there where you need to secure your email because most of the attacks happen through that, right? Now that's a very crucial first line of defense if you are securing your email using the technology that Routing offers. But we must take security much further than that, what I believe, Stanley, right? So Qualys software, what we do is we continuously scan the IT environment for the vulnerabilities, the risk that an individual organization might possess, right? Whether on premise, in the cloud, or an endpoint, right? Now, what Qualys offers is we cover the 360-degree of your security stack. So, be it your vulnerability management, where we help you to identify and prioritize the risk, be it automation of remediation, which is the most critical part for any organization out there, where we help to automatically patch the known vulnerabilities, and not last but not the least, as I mentioned, it's good to adopt the technology. It's good to move to cloud, but make sure that you adhere to the same security measures that you are taking care on for your on-premise infrastructure. Now, what I mean is the most critical part also comes is auditing your cloud environment with regards to compliance, and that is where Qualys offers you CSPM, Cloud Security Posture Management, where you can focus on the failed controls and resources within your cloud environment and taking care that your cloud environment is 100% compliant with regards to all the mandates and policies and best practices out there. Now, when used together, Routlings prevent breaches at the email level, and the Qualys ensures that any weakness in the infrastructure are detected and patched before the exploitation happens, right? Now, I'm done talking. Now let's move to a real world example. Most of the people out
Mhm,
there would like to know what's the real world example. Now you're talking a
mhm,
lot about Qualys, Rajat, but what do you have any proof what you're
mhm,
doing out in the market? So one of our clients, I cannot reveal the name right now, but one of our clients, a top tier Nigerian financial institution, reduced the phishing incident by 90% and cut patching time by 40% after integrating Routelink's email security with Qualys VMDR platform. Now, what they did is basically they had a very crucial first line of defense using Routelink, and then rest of the thing were taken care by the Qualys, which not only helped them to reduce the amount of vulnerability, but also helped them to secure the dollar value loss, because what I believe risk is equal to the dollar value, and that is where
true.
you need to go ahead, also
Hmm.
focus on the risk, and that is what we are prioritizing now for most of the organizations out there.
This is becoming very interesting.
Absolutely, Stanley. I'm loving the conversation.
Thank you so much. Suraj, what are the three key steps businesses will take today
uh,
to de-risk their operation with all the lovely stuff that police brings on the table?
absolutely, Stanley. That's a good question, but I would not agree on giving you 3 points because there is no limit on what kind of security you can
Mhm,
provide to your infrastructure. But if you
mm,
talk about the key three security pillars, or the operations that every organization should have, is to implement zero trust security. I know, guys, you have your employees, you want to trust them, but you better believe that there are certain organizations who might have faced certain attacks because of
true,
certain links being clicked by their own employee within the organization, right? Implement a zero trust security. That is very critical. Every access request must be verified and gone through a multi-factor authentication, which is very critical. Second is automate security audits and patching. A lot of organizations out there would would want to have something in place where they save their resources, they save a lot of time, they want to achieve that mean time to remediate, they want to reduce their mean time to remediate. That is where now what you need to do is you need to leverage Qualys VMDR and patch management integrated together and reduce your detection as well as mean time to remediate by combining these two security solutions that we offer and reducing the blind spots and eliminating the blind spot. And third, but not the least, is strengthen email security, where you need to pair the Routelink's email protection with the endpoint security that Qualys offers, and you're good to go.
This is getting very interesting. Okay, at this point, we'll give opportunity for questions and answers, like I
Mhm.
did promise. And but I have a good news. I have a good news for all the attendees today. We are offering a free cybersecurity assessment to all attendees. I believe we are all excited. So please feel free to contact us at bossdev@routelinkcs.com, or you can call 0803 639 0777. You can see that on the banner as we go through the webinar. So just take note of that. It doesn't come cheap, but this is Rattling and Qualys. So we
Security is
have,
never cheap.
yes,
Security is never cheap. If it is cheap, it is not a security, I believe. Stanley, right?
yeah, but we have to respect and honor our distinguished audience by giving them this one-time window to access the free cybersecurity assessment. So please reach out to us. Great. Okay, so let's go into the question and answers. I can see a lot of questions coming in from the chat. Oh my God. So let's see. Yeah, so much, so much. Raj, I hope you are ready. Okay, I see. Okay, I see this. Okay, let me start from an IT manager. Okay, this is Tosi.
Mhm.
Tosi is an IT security manager at a financial institution.
Absolutely.
And that's the question. Okay, Tosi is asking,
Mhm.
cybersecurity budget are tight,
Mhm.
and leadership always wants to know where to invest first.
Absolutely.
If an organization had limited resources, what should be the top cybersecurity priority?
Okay. Now that's a very crucial and important question, what I believe, Stanley, right? Now, what you want to prioritize within your cybersecurity is completely depends on organization to organization. But one key thing that remains constant is prioritizing your vulnerabilities and the risk first, right? Now, it's something that we hear from many of the business. If resources are limited, the number one priority should be prioritizing your risk and the vulnerability using a vulnerability management solution that Qualys offers, right? Now, why? The question is why? Because most breaches happen due to unpatched vulnerabilities out there, and not because hackers are inventing new methods every day, right? Now, what is my recommendation being into this field and looking at the different organizations, right? So what is my belief and what I believe that should be taken care? What are my recommendation? The very first is start with a vulnerability management solution. Have a very strong vulnerability management solution, and I would definitely recommend you go with the Qualys VMDR because we are not only helping you to identify the vulnerabilities, but we are helping you to identify the amount of risk associated with your complete network and infrastructure, right? Now, what you need to do is the next part is automate the patching, right? You need to have an automation of patching. Now, using Qualys patch management, definitely you are able to eliminate most of the vulnerabilities. So if you remediate most of the vulnerabilities, that is how you are able to drastically bring down the risk score and the risk associated with your complete estate. And last but not the least is strengthen your endpoint security. Now, this ensures that the remote workers and devices outside the corporate networks are very well protected and secure, because anything that is part of your organization and is connected to your network, you need to make sure you keep better track of it and secure them from any threats out there. Now, even with a small budget, these steps can reduce risk significantly. This can drastically bring down the risk associated with your complete cyber estate while ensuring compliance and the industry regulation. And one more thing, as you bring down the risk, now rather than paying hackers the amount of money that they demand and having that amount of financial loss onto your organization, it's better to invest in kind of a security tool that for now you might feel it's a bit expensive, but it is going to secure your complete future from such risk and financial losses.
Hmm. I'm sure this will excite Tosi. I can testify truly that I've experienced the VMDR system, and anybody who has not experienced it should just go try it. Qualys vulnerability management is really cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I have so much questions. Okay, let me take this one. This is coming from the telecoms industry. I think somebody in the telco. Okay, look like he's a chief. I think, okay, that's Michael. Michael, okay, let's go. Michael has a question for you, Raj.
Mhm.
He says, cyber threats are evolving so fast.
Mhm.
What is the most dangerous emerging cyber threats that businesses should prepare for in 2025 and beyond?
Absolutely, but I believe every organization should be well prepared for each and every cyber threat out there. But if you ask me, the cyber threat landscape is changing every time, right? And one of the most dangerous emerging threat nowadays is related to AI powered cyber threats. Now, where most of the organization are looking to move to AI, leverage AI onto their into their day-to-day tools or the solutions they might be using, applications they might be using, it's very critical to keep an eye on the security posture of your AI infrastructure as well. Now, we are seeing a lot of attacks using AI to generate highly sophisticated, phishing emails. We also discussed about, how AI generated ransomware attacks are being happening nowadays, where one of the critical is the phishing emails. Once it has been, once the phishing email has been created using an AI, now the emails are crafted in such a way that it is able to bypass the traditional email security
Mm,
filters as well.
mm,
AI can also help, hackers to automate social engineering attacks. No more, you need to go ahead and observe a person and do that social engineering on the basis of behavior and the mindset, right? Now, AI is taking care of pretty much everything out there. Other major threats, that include as zero-day exploits. Attackers, targeting software vulnerabilities, any third-party application, first-party software that the organization might be using before vendors even know that this kind of uh, vulnerability exists within their application. And we are proud to say that at Qualys, within 4 hours, we are able to go ahead and create a logical detection for any zero-day related vulnerabilities, right? The second is the supply chain attack, compromising third-party vendor to infiltrate larger organization. And last but not the least, Stanley, is a cloud misconfiguration. Now, we have discussed this within an hour, maybe multiple times, but this is very critical because most of the organization lack on getting that post-eye view about their misconfiguration and failed controls within their cloud environment, right? Now, business need proactive threat detection and AI-driven security analysis, right? And continuous vulnerability assessment to stay ahead of the evolving threats.
I just love this question and the way you approached it. You know, you did say that using AI to generate highly sophisticated phishing emails. This is a major concern, truly. in this
Absolutely.
era of AI.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that Qualys is positioned to help enterprises address this challenge. Okay, thank you, Raj. That was a very good one.
Thank you so much, Stanley.
Okay, we still have some time. Let's see. Um, yeah, this question is around cloud security. I love that because I'm very passionate about cloud security.
Yeah, cloud
I love
security.
that. Okay, the question goes this way. Okay, let me see. Okay, many organizations are shifting to the cloud, true,
Hmm.
but cloud security breaches seem to be increasing. What are the biggest mistakes businesses make with cloud security? Okay.
Yeah. So when you talk about cloud security, what are the what are the gaps within your cloud security, or when you transform to your cloud environment, what are the gaps out there, right? That organization tend to forget on focusing on that, right? And that's a very critical issue. Moving to the cloud is great for scalability and efficiency, but it also comes with a lot of risk. It also comes with a lot of misconfiguration. It also comes with a lot of finance associated, or dollar value associated, because you're investing so much to move your complete infra onto cloud. And if you're not focusing on the key things to keep it secure, then definitely what happened with you, or what happens usually on on-premise, is definitely going to happen for your cloud infrastructure as well, right? Now, three biggest mistake that business or organization make, what I believe, Stanley, and I believe you will agree, and most of the people out there will agree, is the
Mhm.
misconfiguration, right? Cloud environment lack a proper kind of controls in place, proper policies in place, around which definitely they face a lot of attacks out there related to your cloud environment, right? They need to make sure they follow all the best practices by the vendor. They need to have a better solution in place that keeps track of their complete compliance profile for their cloud environment. Lack of continuous monitoring. Definitely, you need to have something in place that continuously monitors your complete infrastructure to give you that real-time information about any asset getting impacted, or any instance getting impacted by any recently discovered vulnerability. There are cloud provider, who provide you some sort of security, but at what stage? Definitely, you need to have a 360-degree kind of a security for your cloud environment. And the last and not the least, for cloud, because cloud is so scalable, but I have to limit to the three factors that every organization should focus on, is not securing your APIs, right? So API are the backbone, because definitely we tend to integrate a lot of things using API within our infrastructure, and we lack on securing those APIs. That is where securing your API is must. Now, to mitigate this risk, companies should use cloud security posture management tools that gives them an information about the complete posture. They can leverage different policies and controls and make it mandate for their complete cloud environment to continuously monitor and enforce best practices within their cloud environment. Now, at Qualys, we offer CSPM that helps you detect the misconfiguration, identify risk, and compliance issue in real time.
In fact, you've taken us through an interesting journey, and
Thank you.
and the API security stands out for
Hmm.
me. You know, I'm glad I can see a few technical people on this platform
Hmm.
because, like you did mention, that API security is very key, and unsecured APIs are a major attack vector. So all the developers and the CIOs and the chief information security officers, please watch out for the cloud security posture management of Qualys, the
Absolutely.
CSPM. Excellent tool to help you mitigate against that. Okay. Okay, we still have some few times. Okay, let's go. A lot of questions are coming up. Let's see. Okay. Victor, um, this is like a banker now, or from bank, and he says financial institutions in Nigeria and Africa are under increasing regulatory pressure. True. From central banks to NDPR and PCI DSS compliance. How can businesses ensure they stay compliant while also improving their security posture?
Again,
Yeah.
a great question. Again, a great question, but again, now we are focusing more on compliance here, right? So, compliance can sometimes, feel like check the box exercise, but it is not, right? But the reality is the good security naturally leads to compliance. Now, if you are treating compliance like check the box exercise, but you also know that there are, if you have a lot of misconfiguration out there into your environment, that is a vulnerability that can be exploited, right? So that's the reason you need to have a very strong compliance solution in place to take care of your compliance posture. The best way to stay ahead of the compliance requirement is through automation. Now here is how you can do that, right? Now use a continuous compliance monitoring tool, right? You can leverage either Qualys CSPM, you can leverage Qualys on-premise policy compliance solution. You can leverage a best compliance solution out there that continuously monitors or audits or assess your infrastructure and endpoints against the mandatory controls and policies out there. You need to implement an automated security audit instead of relying on manual spreadsheets. Let's move to the automation that will not only secure your time to go ahead and audit, but give you the same amount of information, or I believe more amount of information, what you want to have a look at into with regard into your infrastructure with regards to compliance. And last but not the least is focus on your risk-based compliance, right? Now, as being at Qualys, we are moving beyond the basic vulnerability management, and we are now focusing on the risk because everything boils down to risk, right? If you have a vulnerability, it is exploited. If you have a vulnerability, it is a risk, right? So everything boils down to risk, and that is where you definitely need to focus on the risk factor, because if you focus on risk, you're not only covering the basic part of your vulnerability and remediation, but you're even securing the lot of dollar value and your financial losses, right? Now, with these steps, business don't just meet the regulatory information or requirement, they also enhance their overall security. So this is my recommendation. When you move to cloud, be it your on-premise infrastructure, please focus on your compliance part as well. It is very crucial because everything boils down to vulnerability and everything boils down to risk.
Hmm. I wish and hope that somebody from the Central Bank of Nigeria is here because
Sorry.
I see this insight you are giving on compliance. So let's take notes. Let's focus on risk-based compliance, like
Absolutely.
Raj has just mentioned. You know, we must be able to meet regulatory requirements. Nothing must go wrong. And
Absolutely.
okay, I thank you for that insight on compliance. Let me just get. It looked like somebody is not okay with the response you gave on the AI. So somebody is
Mhm.
asking a question on around AI again. So please try and throw more lights. And it says, okay, thank you, Engineer Odoa. Thank you. Thank you too. I want to know what kind of technology will be deployed to mitigate against a cyber attack before it happens. I know you mentioned that, but just take it again.
Can you just come again on that question, Stanley, please?
It says, I want to know what kind of technology will be
Mhm.
deployed to mitigate against cyber attack before it happens.
Yeah. So that is where, a proactive approach comes in place, right? Where definitely you want to have something in place. If you consider a kind of an cyber security space, where every now and then there are multiple attacks happening, what are those key technologies that will help you definitely go ahead and have that smooth, kind of an stress-free cybersecurity in place, or a kind of an solution that will help you to have a proactive approach, right? Because we say that prevention is better than cure, right? And that is where you need to have an endpoint security solution, you need to have a continuous monitoring solution, you need to have a vulnerability management solution. Not only this solution, when you're choosing this solution, please choose them wisely, because most of the
Mhm.
vendors out there might not offer you something that performs a continuous monitoring around your endpoints, around your infrastructure. So if you have such solutions in place, which is able to not only secure your endpoint layer but also your network layer, that is where definitely choose these compliance related, vulnerability management related, and endpoint protection or endpoint detection and response related solutions very wisely, where these solutions can automate and monitor all the recent attacks that happen, and most commonly used attacks around which the infrastructures or organizations get targeted for, right? So these are the key solutions that every organization should have within their security solution stack.
Wow, good. I see another question on AI.
Hmm.
So basically, I think everybody wants to be positioned for AI. Somebody's asking, as Frank. Frank is asking, with the advent of AI, will there still be job for those who study cybersecurity? Okay, that looks quite simple, but it's okay. Just take it and let's move on. Good question, Frank. Did you get that question?
Can you just come again?
He said, with the advent of AI, will
Hmm.
there still be job for those who studied cybersecurity?
That's a good question. I believe we are the one who are creating AI, right? Now the next thing is, even if AI reaches at such certain extent, right? Uh, there you need definitely someone to have a second eye of or second view onto your security posture, right? Now most of the organization that I have dealt with, even they love automation, they love AI, but definitely they cannot completely trust on them. Now, one example I would say that when you focus on having an automation of remediation where we leverage AI, or we leverage most of the automation, most of the organization hesitate to depend completely on the AI driven or kind of an automation, right? They want to have a manual intervention. They want to have a second eye onto their infrastructure from the manual perspective. So my answer would be that as the AI reaches certain level, but still we're gonna have our jobs in place. We're gonna do what we are doing, because every organization out there is looking to have a well-trained person who is not just well versed with all the security solutions, but even well versed how even after having an AI, he's able to keep an eye onto their complete security posture. So nothing can be completely automated. Definitely, organization need a second eye, a second pair of glasses for their infrastructure.
Okay, so Frank, you are still in good hands. Fear not. AI will
Yeah.
not AI will not displace you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now a question again from Paul Ifedayo. Paul says, many businesses invest in security tools
Hmm.
but still fall victim to cyber attacks. What steps should companies take to truly become cyber resilient?
Ah, sorry. So when you talk about resilience, you need to now what an organization want is they want to focus on their BAU, right? Business as usual. Anything happens, still the business should move on, right? Now, what are the three-step frameworks for the cyber resilience from my end is continued threat detection and response, right? Now, we had a previous question where what kind of technologies we should have within our infrastructure, right? And one of them is the key point I mentioned, that we need to have a continuous monitoring and threat detection. And we need to have kind of a rapid response into place, right? So business must move away from periodic security checks and adopt real-time vulnerability management tools like VMDR to get instant visibility into their security risk, right? The second is zero trust architecture. We had a discussion around this, but this is very vast and very interesting, right? Every organization, uh, the second pillar or the second framework is having a zero trust architecture where every device, users, and system must be continuously verified using multi-factor authentication or least privilege access. And last but not the least, security automation and AI. Now, manually tracking threat is something which was traditional, which should not be considered nowadays, because current scenario is completely different from what used to happen before. Now, every other day, you have millions of vulnerabilities out there into the market. Hackers are sitting there using, trying to make and break your security in some or the other way, right? Now, organizations should leverage AI-driven security tools that automate patching, risk prioritization, and threat detections to stay ahead, but still, this keeps our job in place, right? So, Frank, this is
Hmm.
for you, that we are still secure even though everyone is going to have an AI in place, but definitely they're going to have a second layer of protection from our end. But combining, this proactive security and automation and continuous monitoring, business can, prevent the breaches before they happen and build a long-term cyber resilience.
Hmm. This is good. This is good and very informative. Thank you, Raj, for doing justice to that question. Okay, let's see. Oh, time is fast spent, but we have to meet up. Okay, this question is from, you said Mr. M. With the rise of, no, I think we've taken that. In an era where data breaches are inevitable, how
Mm-hmm.
can organizations shift from purely preventive approach to a resilient cybersecurity strategy that prioritizes rapid detection and response and recovery? I think you took that question.
Yeah. So basically,
Something.
Mr. Morgan, uh, what I mentioned, the three frameworks, these are key to maintain the cyber resilience within the organization, right? Now, you need to have a kind of an AI-driven automation with regards to your security tools. You need to have a continuous monitoring tool. You need to have a continuous audit tool, security audit tool in place, right? And security automation, AI, zero trust architecture, and continuous threat detection and response. These are the three key features, or these are the key three frameworks you need to keep in mind when moving from a purely preventive approach to a kind of a resilient cybersecurity, what I believe.
I hope that answers the question. Okay, so we are wrapping up. We're wrapping up. A whole lot of questions are here, but I just want to remind us again that Routelink has decided magnanimously to extend a free cyber security assessment to all attendees. Okay, I think I've just been informed now that the cyber security assessment should be left open for 1 month to anyone that engages Routelink in the next 30 days. So even if you didn't attend the webinar as an enterprise, we are giving you a 1 month free cybersecurity assessment. Please contact bossdev at routelinksis.com or 0803 639 0777. You can see it on the banner and then take note. Thank you, Routelink, for being so magnanimous, so kind, because it doesn't come cheap, like Raj said. Okay, I think we just have to go now. I know a lot of questions have been lined up. We can't take all. Just reach out to the email on the screen, and we'll definitely do much more than you expect. As we wrap up today, I want to thank the team. As we wrap up in today's insightful discussion on de-risking your organization from cyber threats with Routelink and Qualys, I want us to take a moment to summarize the key takeaways as we've keenly listened to Raj. So some of the takeaways would include, number one, we've known clearly that cyber threats are evolving rapidly with ransomware, cloud vulnerabilities, and social engineering being major risks for businesses today. Take note of that takeaway. Secondly, proactive security is essential. Waiting until a breach happens is too late. Don't wait until the breach happens. Be proactive on cybersecurity. It's essential. Thirdly, Routelink and Qualys provide a comprehensive defense from email security and endpoint protection to automated vulnerability management and compliance monitoring. The last but not the least, automation and zero trust security are critical. So businesses must implement continuous monitoring, strong access controls, and automated patching to stay ahead of cyber criminals because they're everywhere. So
Absolutely.
thank you. So cybersecurity is not a one-time fix. I repeat, cybersecurity is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process. The threats won't stop evolving, but with the right tools and strategy, I assure you, you can stay ahead. Well, we don't want today's discussion to just be informative. We want it to be actionable. So this is a call for action. Again, remember, we are offering you a free cybersecurity assessment. Reach out to bossdev@routlinkseas.com or call 0803-639-0777 to schedule your assessment. I want to also encourage you to follow Routelink and Qualys for more cybersecurity insights and updates. Thank you all for joining us today. A special thanks to Rajat and the Qualys team for their expertise.
Thank you so much, Stanley. It was an absolute pleasure to, have this webinar and, a guide this works around, how Qualys is able to secure pretty much anything within their infrastructure. And I hope to have, more webinars going ahead because we'll be able to then go ahead and guide more folks around the security and make them aware about how to stay ahead of the recent trends.
Good, good. Thank you all. Stay secure, stay proactive, and let's work together to de-risk your organization from cyber threats. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.